role in bringing Ayurveda as a subject in UPSC examinations. That was really a mind-blowing thing, ma'am. Steps taken to teach Ayurveda in different universities of the different country. Madam has published number of papers in national and international journals, organized national and international seminars, appeared in Doordarshan, and spoke about development of Ayurveda for almost 12 episodes. Given guest lectures on Ayurveda to allopathic doctors, conducted Ayurfest resource persons in many seminars. Really, ma'am, madam is a woman of virtue and simplicity, a good orator, administrator, dynamic personality, and a source of inspiration and role model to all the Ayurvedic doctors. We are very fortunate and grateful for having you here, ma'am. I place a humble plea to deliver the keynote address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayana, for giving me a... Your name is Ayana? Okay. Dr. Ayana, for giving me a lengthy introduction. It's my privilege to be the part of Silver Jubilee celebrations of RGUHS because I am also a product of RGUHS. So it's a highly privileged, and thanks to JSS Ayurveda College and the co-host DMDM Ayurveda College, Bangalore, giving a wonderful opportunity to stand in front of you. Because after COVID, I am attending the first function. I was waiting who will call, I can go and meet my fraternity. I think audience are also in the same state of mind, right? That's why I can see the first day, very inaugural session, so many are gathered here and it's a full mass. Thanks to Ayurveda for connecting us, because we're all connected here in the name of Ayurveda. Let me first start appreciating your principal. He's not here. If you appreciate someone in his absence, it's more well and good, right? There was a person praying to God, give me a beautiful girl to marry, okay? The God was highly impressed by his prayers and he appeared in front of him. And the God asked, Beta, chalo, I'll give you a very good girl. What's your name? I wanted to know you whether if you're a Muslim, I'll give you Karishma Kapoor type of girl. If you're a Hindu, I'll give Aishwarya Rai type of girl. If you're a Christian, I'll give you Amy Jackson type of girl. This intelligent boy said, God, my name is Anthony Alim Sarbeshwarkar. He got all three together. Similarly, your principal Sarbeshwarkar, who is also good in admin, practice and also teaching. All three he has together. And I have been watching him for many years in Sri and here. Initially, it was difficult for me to understand his English, what he's speaking. Later, I picked up like you, and like you, I also became a fan of him. At his request, I'm here today. So thanks to him and other co-hosts. I'm not a very intelligent person to have a very scientific sessions because so many are sitting in front of me, Dr. Madhav Dikavi, Dr. Sharmina Naik sir. Whenever I have doubt, I used to call them what I will give to this patient. So many teachers are there, senior most persons are here, so many researchers are here. The work I have done to Ayurveda is very less. I'm not thinking that I have done something great. Okay, let me now start with the demography. Okay, in India, India is the most populated country, second largest population, right? How many of you are here below 45? Raise your hands. Almost all. India has 63% of the population below 45. I am also below 45. I will also raise the hand. Next year I will become old. And most of you here are female. Raise your hands. Yes. Today Ayurveda is moving to women power, everything in the hand of women. Do you know who is the first lady doctor in India? Anand Bai. Let us tell the story of hers. Anand Bai got married at the age of 14. She delivered a male child which could not survive, and hence she had a fire, Anala, to study medicine. Her husband Gopal Rao wrote to Women's College of Pennsylvania for her admission, and she got the admission. She did 2 years course there and came back. Unfortunately, she expired because of tuberculosis. She was very short-lived. After her passing her medical stream, 1 year only she survived. Okay. Do you know what was her thesis work? Her thesis work was obstetrics among Aryan Hindu women with reference to Ayurvedic text. Feel proud. The first woman doctor in India done the Western medical stream, but did her thesis in obstetrics in Indian Arya woman with reference to Ayurvedic text. Hats off to her. So only women can carry the heritage, Indian medicine, Ayurveda, and hence today you are all here. 80% of the Ayurveda colleges are filled with female candidates. But at the same time, you remember you should not waste this seat. You will get so many Gopal Raos. Don't worry, you will get a lot of encouragement in practicing. The first female student in Madras Medical College in Tamil Nadu was Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. It was 1905. When she got admission in Madras Medical College, she was the only female student in the class and all others were male students. And the parents of all the male students wrote a letter to the dean, do not admit her in the class. It was a European dean, not Indian dean. So the European male called all the parents and asked, what's the problem? Why you want to not admitted her? Then all the parents replied, if she is in the class, my sons will all get spoiled, so we don't want her to be in the class. The European dean boldly taken a decision. You keep all your sons at your home. I will run this Madras Medical College with one female student. That's enough for me. That was the first bold step taken to get admitted, the first female student in Tamil Nadu. You know, so many pioneers in this field. So many seniors in the field suffered a lot, humiliated and entered into this profession and shined like stars. So please do not waste your seats. So you be bit encouraged and motivated to do Ayurveda practice in future. Studying Ayurveda, practicing Ayurveda will always be a tough stream for you. You always have to compete with the biggest lobby of modern medicine, no doubt. Always there will be a discomfort zone. When you cross this discomfort zone, you will enter into the comfort zone. You are all in final year, internship. Then you passed, you crossed the discomfort zone. Suppose if you have passed Padatha Vinyanam, then you have crossed discomfort zone. Padatha Vinyanam and Sanskrit you passed, then now you are in the comfort zone. But don't take it very light, okay? See, when we say the origin of Ayurveda, when we tell to others, when we read the books, that to this young generation, I have the habit of asking lot of questions. When I teach to students also, they used to ask, what madam you are telling Brahma has given, it has carried to Daksha, it has come to Ashwina, how Brahma can give from sky, whether it can be believable. If I tell this story to someone, people are asking the origin of Ayurveda itself is a myth. So the system itself is a myth. So we are all blamed like that. But don't worry. You know the history of research of the origin of universe? Let me put it in 4 or 5 points. Then you'll understand how true is our origin of Ayurveda. Andautpatti, the universe origin. They say there is a big bang theory. There was a big blast and the universe was produced. And it has taken how many minutes? Only 3 minutes. Even if you wanted to construct a 2000 square feet flat, it will take 1 year. But within 3 minutes, the universe was created. This was a theory. People used to think this universe is flat, not round. So they used to tell others, don't walk too much, you will fall down. This was the theory in the initial stages of the research. Then later, Greeks found that it is not flat, it is round here. The earth is round. How it is round? Because the shadow of the earth is something like a curve. So it is not flat, it is round. Okay. Then, Aryabhatta found no telescope, nothing. He found the distance between the sun and the earth is 15 crore kilometers. Without knowing any formulation, he just told, and that is now is accepted by NASA. You see how great Indian astronomers and mathematicians are there. Then came the next person, Copernicus. You all know Copernicus. Copernicus is the first person who said Earth is not at the center, Sun is at the center. And he wrote a big book, and by the time the book could release, he expired. Then came another person, a wonderful person who invented a telescope, Galileo. Galileo was the first person who said, no, Sun is at the center, we are all away from the sun. We are all revolving around the sun. But this was not accepted by the church people in 1609, I think. What they said, they called the Galileo and said, do not write such theories. It is against. If at all you want to write, you just write, sun may also be in the center. Earth may also be in the center. Just like how we fight in the family, parents will tell wala wala kola kola on judgment. No? Courts will give like that. You write in both the ways. Don't say that sun is at the center. But this fellow finally wrote a book. That book name is called Dialogue. At the end of the book, he said, because he's a very true scientist, he said, no, sun is at the center. Hinduism also says the same. If you go to Navagraha temple, Surya Bhagavan will be at the center. See how classically we have done everything. So no one can say it is a myth. When he wrote, sun is at the center, the church arrested him and house arrest. In house arrest itself, he expired. 12 years of house arrest. He wrote another book, Discourse, another book, Diagram. Nothing came out. That was a secret. Later, Newton came. Newton theory, like how they are all revolving, the galaxy, it is the law of attraction. Then another person came, Einstein. Einstein only proved that sun is at the center and everything is revolving in a rolling frame. This was the secret of the history of research. Whatever it is, whatever the research of universities, you again go back. Okay, we are accepting all your theories. Go back. The universe was round. It was flat. Previous to that, what it was. Then all the scientist forum accepted. Maybe previous to that, some God was there. Yes, they have accepted this. So whenever you tell the origin of Ayurveda, never feel any guilt or never feel anything like to discourage that you're telling some stories. You can also answer like this. In future, 5,000 crore years after, our generation may go and settle in moon. That time they may say there was a planet called Earth, they practiced Ayurveda. That time people living in the moon may feel that it is a myth. So nothing is myth in Ayurveda. When there is a God's belief, then we are the original true edition of medicine. We are the pioneers in the medicine. So always feel encouraged with that. Even our name of the medicines are in the name of God. Dhanvantara Tailam, Shiva Gulika, Narayana Tailam. Even the names are written in the God's name. So never feel dejected or discouraged by people's queries or doubts about us. This is one of the main things which you should take over. Okay. Now let me come to the topic, crux of the topic today is gastrointestinal disorders. Many people are here to give you scientific proofs, scientific evidences. Disease-wise, we are going to have a discussion today. Whatever it is, food or food products or the lifestyle or the stress, whatever induces or causing the gastrointestinal disorders. Agni is the main thing, and we know there is a gut brain. Brain is not here, it is here. We need to treat it and we have to focus. Being Ayurveda doctors, not only study your books, also focus on many areas like outside what's happening. Your director, Magesh, said that a lot of organic foods are coming up, and we should also focus on that area. You should also enter and read the books of research articles related to nutrition. National Nutrition Department is there. There is a National Institute of Nutrition in Hyderabad. If you go on research, they are telling the best food is idli, the worst food is pickle, the best fruit is guava, the worst food is this. So many are there. Whatever is not suiting to our genetics, that you should not advise to the patient. Let me put it in this way. We all know one brand of noodles which was not accepted, and it has got a lot of MSG, and within 2 weeks it came into the market. There is a big business politics for food. Now we are not able to decide what food we should eat. The food what we should eat is decided by the political scenario, business politics. Let me tell you the secret of this MSG. How this MSG entered into the market. Anyone knows this? There was a Japanese scientist doing research from Kyoto University. He was working on taste. He wanted to find out which taste is applicable entirely to the universe. What the Australians, Africans, Americans, Asians, all the persons likes which taste. He wanted to find out the universal taste. And finally, he found that everyone, the like taste, universal taste is mother's milk. The glutamic acid present in the mother's milk attracted him, and he added some monosodium salt. He improved the taste, and that is the MSG. Whenever you get the opportunity, you please explain this to the patient, explain to the wherever talk, you can go to schools. Very important to stop all the adulterated products to come into the market. Thereby, Ayurvedic principle of prevention of diseases you can establish. This is another important point you should note. And how many of you want to enter into teaching line? Okay, there are so many. How many want to become practitioners? Many. Researchers? No one. Very few. Yes. Since you're all the interns, you're all in the internship students, I would like to give a sincere advice. If you enter into teaching, because many rise for teaching line, many rise for practitioners line, very few for the research line. Whenever you enter into teacher, you be a good inspirator, not a manager. You should always be a good inspiration to the students. You know this Rama married Sita. How he married? He just bent the bow and arrow, but Sita's father said, no, I am not going to get her married to you because your father is already having 3 wives. I am not going to give my Sita to you. But if someone advised him, no, you get him married, he may be D. Raman, son of Dasharathan, but actually he is care of V. Raman. Vashishta, his Guruji is there. So based on his Guruji, you get him married. So most of the people you'll get married will be verified to your teachers, remember? So always behave well to your teachers. Also, you also behave well when you become teachers. This is at most important point. When you all become practitioners, take care that you have rich knowledge in your domain. You all practice only Ayurveda. Also, you can integrate. Future will be the integration, but integrate with other doctors, but you do not do modern practice. Allow other doctors to enter and always have an integrated setup. This can help you very much in your practice, and this will be the future India. There will be an integrated setup everywhere, like China model. India also will develop a lot of models. You also learn a lot of modern technologies, how you can take Ayurveda to the standards. We should remove from the mind of the people that Ayurveda means joint pain they will give, oil they will give, massage they will give. This kind of perceptions from the public should be removed. You should take Ayurveda to the next level. That is at most important. So I request each and every one of you to practice Ayurveda based focus on Ayurveda, and when you become researchers, please prove your principles. So far research in Ayurveda, no one has proved the principles. They're simply taking a drug and taking out the physiochemical properties or the whatever the alkaloids in that. When you do drug research, again it will go to modern. If you take away the alkaloid, curcumin is present, they will say it is a modern medicine. So always try to prove. If anyone dare to prove the Vata Pitta Kapha principles, I think we have answers for $1,000,000 questions posed to us by the other fraternity and other lobbying. So there is only very few raise the hands. I request that very few to focus on proving our principles instead of going for drug research. That's most important. And of course, you bring laurels to your institution. Whenever SDM is there, SDM students are clapping. Whenever JSS, we say JSS are clapping. Whenever Shri Shri, we say Shri Shri is clapping. So always there is a possessiveness for the institution. In the similar way, there is also possessiveness about you from the institution. See, suppose if you get an award today you have been honored with an award. Okay, the phone call is coming. What's your name? Grishma is getting a phone call from President of India office. Today you have been offered with Padma Shri. Immediately she flies high and tells mom. Her mom is giving some sweet. Immediately her sister will stop. Wait. It's not confirmed. There are so many prank calls coming. Don't celebrate now. Is it not? Then suppose if other people come to know, the neighbor will peep out and say, no, don't tell anybody now. Let us wait for the official information. Let the letter come. Let it come in newspaper. Neighbors also feeling hesitate to celebrate. But the only person who will celebrate instantly is your institution. So always bring laurels to your institution. Your institution will always be proud of you. Don't worry. You know, Sundar Pichai became CEO of Google. No one knows who he is. Immediately they were taking the attendance sheet in which year he studied, IIT Gorakhpur. They said he was a last bench student. He became CEO of Google, and it was a wonderful moment for the institution. And they say, my student, my student, my student. Like that, if you achieve something, we all will be proud of you and we'll say, my student, my student. So it is always there. So I want each and every one of you to be the achievers. Don't worry. Don't say that I don't have money to establish a clinic. I don't have a background. Nothing is required other than your effort and dedication. Effort and dedication will always bring you lot of laurels to you, lot of laurels. That is important. See, if two persons go and pray to the God, okay, the father is praying, my God, give my son a beautiful girl like Sharmila Thakur. The son will pray, give me a good person like Aishwarya Rai. Which prayer the God will answer? You understand? So only whomsoever is dedicated and sincere, the God also will answer. So the only effort, only investment which you have is your sincerity, effort and dedication, not finance. Always remember this. The Ola cars and Uber cars which are running on the roads and you are picking up for the quick transportation, none of the cars are owned by the owner. It is only a mastermind. The OYO rooms which you are staying in various hotel places, none of the rooms are owned by the OYO person. It is only a master brain. If you have a master brain, you can achieve anything and everything. This is utmost important, and whatever you study, you always give good to the students. Whatever you carry out in your practice, you always do good to the patients. No shortcuts. Whatever you do will come back to you. That is utmost important point. That is karma. Karma to be explained in a very, very, very short one. Like one husband and wife who never fight, had a fight one day, and both of us don't want to talk with each other. When next day the husband had a flight to fly and kept under wife's pillow, wake me up at 6 o'clock, I have flight at 10. When next day morning when he got up, it was already 10 o'clock, he was very angry. He was about to beat his wife with the pillow, and under his pillow there were 100 slips. It's already 4 o'clock, get up, 6 o'clock, get up, 6:05, get up, 6:10, get up. Like that, there were 100 slips. If you do one thing, 100 things will come back to you. One bad thing, 100 bad things. One good thing, 100 good things will come back to you. This is karma. I request each and every one of you to be the best Ayurvedic practitioners, teachers, and researchers, and wish you all good luck with these few words. I thank each and every one of you for participating here. I congratulate Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Dean Board of Studies of RGUHS, and the scientific sessions are ahead for you. Wish you all good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of JSS AMC, a heartfelt thanks for your wonderful, lively, and humorous keynote. We never expected that a keynote address could be so lively and humorous, right? So it was a pack of everything, knowledge and a personality development and a source of inspiration. Once again, a heartfelt thanks for your wonderful, lively, humorous talk, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Pooja to start the first scientific session.
treating different sorts of liver disorders, say very successfully, they claim, but it's not so. I've seen many people, they don't know anything ABCD about the pathology. Just by seeing the clinical features, I think any layman can diagnose jaundice very easily. You don't need any extra knowledge to diagnose. Simply by seeing the discoloration in the eyes and other parts of the body, easily one can diagnose. And many, like in many families in India, it's a trend wherein the grandfather, the children, it's going on, wherein they practice. One pity thing is that, of course, they're practicing, they did good thing. They kept the science like alive till now. But what I feel, whatever we look is not everything. That's what rightly the topic of today's session is diagnosis. Rogamado parikshayet tato anantaram aushadam. I think I'm addressing most of the students here. Hence, it's a take-home message for you people. Rogamado parikshayet. Don't run behind treatment. Treatment is very easy, my dear friends. Students, treatment is very, very easy, but diagnosis is not that easy. Diagnosis is a skill. It's one has to cultivate. Nobody will teach you. Diagnosis readily is not available in the market here. Even teacher also cannot give you diagnosis completely. The steps involved in diagnosing the condition, diagnosis any condition, they can tell you, but you have to cultivate, repeated satata abhyasa. The theoretical practice and learning the disease in a ward is very, very important. You should read disease in the text in Samhitas. After reading that, take the Samhitas, go in front of the patient and start reading the disease in front of the patient. The patient will give more clues than the text many times. Hence, coming to the point what I was discussing in India, there are many people, those are not, even though qualified, but still they practice hepatology. I had seen many people tying simple creeper here in the forearm. I had seen many people, the creeper is tied in the neck. Some people, they give juice. Some people, they give powder. And on. It's not daily trend here. They practice only on particular date. They say it's auspicious for those people and they give only on their days. And interestingly, if 10 people attend such type of practice, nearly 3 to 4 patients get cured also. There is result, no doubt. But what about other 6 people, those are not cured? The jaundice is such an easy disease to diagnose, to say jaundice, but it is very difficult to treat. Hence, the underlying pathology is very, very important. One should know what is the reason for the presentation. Why the eyes have become discoloration? What is the reason? And if you start practicing accordingly to that, definitely you will get a lot of success. I think there are so many medical systems in the universe. Each and every system is having its own limitations, and likely with us also. Same thing with us also. Ayurveda, we shouldn't claim each and everything. Yeah, everything is Ayurveda. We can claim, we can treat each and everything. No. We have our own limitations in the same way. As per hepatology is concerned, we have little upper edges than any other system to treat this disease. That's what I want to say here. Next slide. Can you upload from there? Next. Yeah, Kamala. Today's my discussion is about Kamala with respect to jaundice. My discussion, I have limited my discussion of Kamala with respect to jaundice. Kamala is a disease which is manifested due to the derangement with the Raktavasrotas. Already you know the basics here. As far as Kamala is concerned, when we say definition, paribhasha, and let's see how Ayurveda defined Kamala in the same way how the jaundice has been defined. The word Kamala is having derived, or you can say there are 2 important points as far as Kamala is concerned. One is discoloration, second is desire. Kanti lunati hinasti. It has been told it's a discoloration. Kanti. Kanti is a luster in general, but in this context, we can say Kanti is a color. Kamala is a condition or a person where one who is suffering from this disease is going to attain discoloration in a certain part of the body. What are those discolorations? Basically, Pita, Nila, Harita, Varna, so on. And as you know, almost all the authors have discussed Pandu, Kamala together in a single chapter. Pandu and Kamala together discuss. Pandu and Kamala. In that, while telling Pandu, they are told what are discolorations? Pita, Nila, Harita, Varna. Pandusu, Pita Bhagardaha, Ketaki Dhuli Sannivaha. Already I learned here. Pandutve no palakshito rogaha, Pandu rogaha. This Pandu and Kamala both are Varna Vikara Janya Vikaras, wherein the person is going to attain various discolorations, and amongst them, Pita Varna is more dominant. And where these are the areas where you see Pita Varna. The areas, don't look only at the eyes or sclera. It's a palate. It's very important. One should see the palate. One should see the dorsum of the tongue and skin. These are the areas where Kamala is better diagnosed or appreciated. Whenever we say, see, is there any ictus? I say, students, just check, is there any ictus? Ictus, one should see. Where one should see ictus? These are areas one should appreciate ictus. This is the one. You can see the nasal mucosa also. See, try to remember these points while discussing Chikitsa. I'm going to ask you once again why it's very important. Nasya has been one of the important treatment in Kamala, very rarely practiced. And why Nasya? This is example here. I'll quote once again it. See, nasal mucosa, oral mucosa, the soft palate, the sclera, these are different areas where discoloration is maximum seen. What is Kamala? One is Kanti lunati hinasti. Harana Chandra, while discussing Kamala, Kama iti sadharana shabdaha, Vishesha Salpe Bhakta Vilasha Pravartante. Very nicely, very scientifically told. Vishesha Salpe Bhakta Vilasha Pravartante. The person, one who is suffering from Kamala, is going to lose desire. Kama is not, Kama in general, we say desire here. The person, one who is suffering from this disease, is going to lose desire in all the aspects. That's why if you see Koshta Kamala Lakshana, Hatendriyaha, one of the important Lakshana mentioned, Hatendriyaha, all Ekadasha Indriyas, it's not only Panchadhyana difference here, all Ekadasha Indriyas are not performing their designated normal activities. That is Hatendriya. That is desire. The person, one who is suffering from Kamala, is going to have some abnormal discoloration in particular parts of the body. Along with that, it is Swalpe Bhakta Vilasha. The person is going to lose desire. This is the definition you can say of Kamala. Let's see what jaundice. What is jaundice? It is yellowish discoloration of sclera and mucous membrane. It only deals with the discoloration. But see how scientific the definition of Kamala has been told. It's beyond that. It is loss of desire and discoloration, the both. Yeah. Under hepatobiliary system, you know, jaundice is the disease of hepatobiliary system. And I tried here to collect the diseases which are mentioned in the Ayurvedic text under this heading. What are the different diseases we can consider under hepatobiliary tree? It is Pandu, Kamala, Halimaka, Kumbha Kamala, Panaki, Yakrut Roga, Pliha Roga, Udara, Raktapitta, and Madateya. Why I am mentioning this? When you're treating liver disorders, don't restrict your knowledge only to the Chikitsa of Kamala. No. You may require to use Chikitsa Sutra of Madateya, Raktapitta, Udara, Pliha Roga, Yakrut Roga, Panaki, Kumbha Kamala in different instructions. It is a combination of all. So it's a beauty of Ayurveda. So many things have been told in different contexts. We have to collect as and when which is required. We have to collect the Chikitsa from each and every part. Interestingly, why Raktapitta added here? Do you know Raktapitta? Raktapitta is a bleeding disorder. Vinabhigata Sputakarnatva. Ganna Senji very nicely explained about the definition of Raktapitta. And one important Nidana. See, the reason behind including Raktapitta in the hepatobiliary disease. Nidanas. Anybody here? We say proudly Ayurvedic people, our drugs are very safe. No side effects at all. We blindly say, so many times our neighbors and relatives, they ask me, I'm using this medicine. Can I use? Don't worry, it's Ayurvedic medicine. We can use blindly. How much in kilograms also you can use? No problem. No, it's wrong. It's wrong version we are saying. We have to accept. It's clearly told in that era, Sushrutas has clearly mentioned there are two aushadhis. If it is consumed inexcessively, that may cause Rakta Pitta. Aushadhi Kruta Rakta Pitta, Apamarga and Jyotishmati. Apamarga and Jyotishmati, these are two drugs, should be used very scientifically and judiciously. If it is used excessively, that may cause Rakta Pitta. What is Rakta Pitta? Bleeding disorder. And where you see bleeding disorder, when coagulation factors are hampered, they are not synthesized properly by the liver. When liver is not synthesizing, when it is chronically affected, when it is not malfunctioning, in that condition, we see the bleeding tendency. That's why in chronic liver disease, we see PT, prothymine level, we see. That is bleeding disorder. That made me to think of even Rakta Pitta should be included in hepatobiliary disorders. Like that, the other conditions also. But basically, it starts with Pandu and ultimately ends with Kumbha Kamala. Now, another interesting point. There are a few interesting points, few basics I'm discussing, then I'll go to disease proper. Ranjaka Pitta. Amashayashitam Pittam Ranjakam Rasaranjana. How many types of Ranjaka Pitta are there? It's one of the Panchapittas, and basically it is functioning, it is basically doing coloration to the rasa, and it is helpful for the proper formation of the Rakta Dhatu. Ranjaka Pitta. It is what we have been taught. But when we see Charaka Chikitsasan 16th chapter, Chakrapani's version, I thought there is another Ranjaka Pitta. While explaining Tilapishta Nibhavarchaha, which is one of the important clinical features in the context of Shakashita Kamala, Chakrapani says, Kostasya Malaranjaka Pittasya Abhavat. It happens because of the Kostasya Malaranjaka Pitta. Then I thought there is another Ranjaka Pitta which is giving normal coloration to the stool. Hence, it is also Ranjaka Pitta itself here. Hence, as per Kamala is concerned, there are two kinds of Ranjaka Pittas. One is Rasa Ranjaka Pitta, second is Mala Ranjaka Pitta. Hence, Ranjaka Pitta in this context is bilirubin. Ranjaka Pitta, as per Mala Ranjana is concerned, is a bilirubin, is a pigment which is there in the bile. Bile acids, bile salts, and bile pigment, these are the most important contents of the bile liver secretion. And as we know, the pigmentation or normal coloration of the stool is basically by virtue of stercobilinogen, the end product of bilirubin in the intestine. It's nothing but, once again, Ranjaka Pitta itself here. Hence, Ranjaka Pitta, whenever we are discussing Pandu Kamala, as per Pandu is concerned, it's a Rasaranjana. As Kamala is concerned, it's a Rasaranjana as well as Malaranjana. Hence, Ranjaka Pitta can be of two types. One is Rasaranjana and Malaranjana. Another important point. What is jaundice? Just as I mentioned here, jaundice is nothing but yellowish discoloration of sclera and mucous membrane. Can you define jaundice in laboratory? It's a hyperbilirubinemia condition. Jaundice results due to the excessive accumulation of the bilirubin in the serum. Hyperbilirubinemia. What is bilirubin then? The normal level 0.2 to 0.8 milligram per deciliter. When it exceeds the upper limit 0.8 milligram, that condition one should call hyperbilirubinemia. And what is bilirubin? Bilirubin is in this chart. I tried to explain what exactly bilirubin, how it is manufactured or utpatti takes place, and what is its end. Bilirubin is nothing but a pigment part in the hemoglobin. Once RBC undergo destruction after attaining its maturity after 120 days, is a physiological destruction. All RBCs, once they attain 120 days, they will be destroyed in reticuloendothelial system. And as a resultant of like this destruction, heme and globulin, they are separated from heme. The heme oxidase enzyme reduces the biliverdin into bilirubin, and these are different steps involved. I'll not go in detail. It's already learned in the physiology here, first year. And biliverdin reduced to bilirubin, and bilirubin, which is produced immediately after destruction of RBC, is called unconjugated bilirubin. Yeah, as per jaundice treatment is concerned, try to by heart these two words. Bilirubin is of two types. One is conjugated, second is unconjugated. Conjugated is also called direct bilirubin and indirect bilirubin. And what is total bilirubin? It's a conjugated plus unconjugated is equal to direct bilirubin. When you see LFT, yeah, see, we Ayurvedic practitioners, we get a lot of chronic patients. Is it not? When patient comes to us, they'll come with big file. After entering our consultation room, they sit in front of us. They open the file. They won't tell what's happening here. What is their problem? They open the file. They want you to read the file. Read it, digest it, then check me. Like that, their behavior is. And when you are reading LFT, one should know what exactly it is denoting. LFT, liver function test, most important test in the diagnosis of liver disease. Bilirubin total, bilirubin direct, bilirubin indirect, SGOT, SGPT, alkaline phosphatase, total albumin, total protein, albumin, globulin, AG ratio. These are LFTs. In that, bilirubin, see how bilirubin is denoted in LFT? Total bilirubin. What is exactly total? It's a combination of direct and indirect. What is indirect? Unconjugated. What is unconjugated? The bilirubin which is produced immediately after destruction of RBC is called unconjugated. How they differ each other? Why conjugation is required? My dear friends, conjugated bilirubin is highly toxic. Conjugated bilirubin is highly toxic. The first property. The second property, it is not water soluble. It's not water soluble. Say what body does with toxic material? It wants to throw away. What is toxic? Ama. Ama, which is, see, body is very clever. Body doesn't want to retain anything which is not useful for it. It wants to throw it away. How it throws? By means of Malanissarana. What is Malanissarana? Purisha, Sweda, Mutra. What these are? Aqueous medias, watery medias. Poor body cannot eliminate this fat soluble bilirubin as it is through sweat, urine and stool. What it wants to convert into water soluble. Hence the process wherein the fat soluble bilirubin is converted into water soluble bilirubin is called conjugation. The definition of conjugation is nothing but the process wherein the fat soluble bilirubin is converted into water soluble bilirubin. And who is doing this? Hepatocyte, liver in general, hepatocyte in particular, and that too particular glucuronic acid. The basic requirement for the conjugation process is the glucuronoids. The glucuronic acid, congenital absentia of a glucuronic acid will lead to a condition called Gilbert syndrome. Very rarely we come across in our practice. No conjugation. Why? Because the glucuronics are absent. That's very difficult to treat. Let it. Treatment part I will discuss afterwards. But diagnosis. Hence, bilirubin which is produced after destruction RBC is called unconjugated. Then in liver, with help of glucuronides, it becomes conjugated. It means water soluble. And once it becomes water soluble, through bile it reaches intestine and then excretory process begins. Now, there are different steps involved in the conjugation process. Already you learned. To refresh your knowledge, I made this chart. Now, classification, next part. Yeah. Classification is very essential because treatment depends on what type of jaundice you're treating, what type of Kamala you're treating. It's not universal treatment. Don't give .dat52, .64 all blindly. I'll not name the brand here. Only 52, 64 I'm telling. Don't give every blindly these medicines in practice. Try to understand what type of Kamala it is. All liver preparations manufactured by these companies are not useful in each and every Kamala, my dear friends. They're fooling you. They're fooling you, in fact. We should stick on to the Charakokta Chikitsa, what has been told. Very simple treatment. No need to go for very costly brands. I'm discussing in the Chikitsa part. Very few drugs, hardly 4 or 5 drugs. If you possess with you, you can treat any kind of liver disorder very successfully. Hence, classification one should. Kamala. Kamala is basically 2 types. Charaka is the first person to classify Kamala into 2 categories. Kotha Shakashita Kamala and Shakashita Kamala. These are 2 important words, take home message for you people. If you want to become successful hepatologists, try to understand, try to bifurcate how these are different each other and what are the Sampratis involved, what are different steps involved in this and how they better treated. Kamala is Shakashita Kamala and Kotha Shakashita Kamala. I'll discuss in later what exactly they mean. Now, let's see what is jaundice classification. I'm discussing both simultaneously. Ayurvedic version I discussed here. In Ayurveda, Kamala is of 2 types. Charaka is the first person to classify Kamala into 2 types. Ashtanga Hrudayakara, Vagbhata has copied Charaka's version and same thing is reproduced. There are 2 texts wherein Kamala they have considered Kamala is of 2 types. Remaining all authors like Sushruta, Harita, they have considered Kamala as a type of Pandu itself here. As a separate Kamala classification, only Charaka and Vagbhata they have classified. And in Vagbhata, we have another word called Ruddhapata Kamala, very famous word called Ruddhapata Kamala. I'll discuss Ruddhapata, what exactly it means. There is another version that I told, but it's nothing but Shakashita Kamala itself here. Ruddhapata means Shakashita Kamala. Now, let's see what is the jaundice classification. As I'm addressing students, I've made a bit theoretical part here. Jaundice is of 2 types of classifications. One is etiological classification. Second is pathophysiological classification. The basic classification. One is pathophysiological classification. Second is etiological classification. The chart which you're seeing is pathophysiological classification. Pathophysiological classification. In this category, jaundice is of 2 types. One is predominantly unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia and second predominantly conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. It depends which type of bilirubin is high, the respective name is given to that jaundice. We know here, what is jaundice? Hyperbilirubinemia. When bilirubin level exceeds the upper range, 0.8 milligram, if it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or n number, whatever it is bilirubin. But we want to know what kind of jaundice it is. When that's the case, we want to see in total bilirubin whose share is more. If unconjugated share is more, that is predominantly unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. And so with conjugated also. If conjugated level is high, that kind of jaundice we call conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. See, for this category, these are the etiologies. What are that? One is overproduction of bilirubin, like hemolytic anemia. Hemolysis is one of the important nidana for the overproduction. This hemolysis is of two types. It's not mentioned in any text here. It's our understanding. One is physiological hemolysis. Second is pathological hemolysis. What is physiological hemolysis? Once RBC attains maturity 120 days, then definitely they have to undergo destruction. They are called physiological hemolysis. Second is pathological hemolysis. Even though they are young, but still they will be destroyed, killed. What? Malaria, best example, malaria, erythroblastis fetalis. They are so very rare condition, but still, even though RBC, they are young, still they are young and energetic, but they will be destroyed in their young age itself here. They are pathological destruction. We're least bothered what kind of destruction rate is. Ultimately, end product we are interested. What is end product? Bilirubin. Hence, the hemolysis can occur due to two reasons. One is physiology, second is pathology. And so that is overproduction. Second, impaired bilirubin conjugation. Gilbertson, just I mentioned here, glucuronic acid. It may be lack of hepatic uptake. There are different steps involved in the conjugation process. Just go through that. Any steps, if it is deranged, that will lead to this condition. And reduced hepatic intake, like drugs. So many drug-induced liver disease. Best example, if patient is undergoing tubercular treatment, AKT, anti-cox treatment, definitely most of the people, those who are on AKT, they are likely to suffer from liver disease at the end of their treatment. What? It is a drug-induced liver disease, like that. In all these conditions, the main thing which is happening is predominantly unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. The second, the predominantly conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, wherein the conjugated bilirubin level in total is high, and that happens because of these three reasons. What is? Decreased intrahepatic excretion of a bile. Example, viral hepatitis, drug-induced hepatitis, and hepatitis. Second, extrahepatic biliary obstruction. What it is? By saying what you understand? It is something obstructing for the flow of the bile. That is conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. It is something obstructing. Remember it. Something obstructing. So there is overproduction. There are two types of pathologies involved. Hence, the treatment depends on what type of pathology you are attending. Now, the second type of classification. Just now we saw the pathophysiological classification. The second, etiological classification. The another very important classification of jaundice is concerned. It is three types: pre-hepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic jaundice. One is pre-hepatic. The name itself suggests, "Tumhara naam kya hai, Basanti?" Pre-hepatic jaundice, something before liver. Pre-hepatic, the pathology is before liver. It is reticuloendothelial system. What is that? Just I mentioned here, destruction. Excessive destruction is a cause. If that's a cause, that kind of jaundice we call pre-hepatic jaundice, is also called hemolytic jaundice. The best example in our practice is neonatal jaundice. Newborn jaundice. Mother will come. My baby's eyes are looking very yellow. That is newborn jaundice, and that is what hemolytic jaundice. That is pre-hepatic jaundice. Second, hepatic jaundice. The pathology is in liver itself here. It is hepatocellular jaundice. It's also called hepatocellular jaundice. My dear friends, it's of two types once again. The further classification. Two types. One is infective hepatitis. Second is non-infective hepatitis. One is infective hepatitis. Second is non-infective hepatitis. Infective hepatitis, best examples are all viral hepatitis. Whatever we see in our practice, from hepatitis A to where it has stopped now till E. It has reached only E station. Z is not that away. Shortly we'll reach Z also. Hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. The different versions of variants of viral hepatitis available in the market now in the form of patients. Hepatitis A is very easy to treat, self-limiting. It's seen in all of the slum areas and etc. It's almost 20-21 days affair here, wherein hepatitis B, C, D are very dangerous. Hepatitis C is also called malignant hepatitis. It's not that common in India, but US and other countries is very common. Malignant hepatitis C is called. Hepatitis B is, once again, it's also very dangerous. In the initial phase, it is clinically asymptomatic, to whom we call it as carriers. All viral hepatitis can exist in two forms. One is active form, second is passive form. In active form, it is virus are active. Active in the sense what? They are multiplying. Virus is multiplying, replication. Where it takes place? Basically in the liver. When virus starts multiplying, it multiplies in the hepatocytes particular, and during its multiplicative process, it destroys the hepatocyte, inflammation of hepatocyte particular, liver in general, we call hepatitis, in turn leads to jaundice. It is called active hepatitis, when virus is active. Second is passive. Virus is inactive, simply taking shelter, khana, pina, sona, bas, nothing, no multiplication. It's called carriers. So they are harboring the virus. They are very dangerous people. They can spread this virus anytime. They can spread because clinically asymptomatic. You cannot make out the person one who is standing or sitting in front of us is having virus or not. They are called carriers. All these are infective hepatitis. Second category is non-infective hepatitis. What is non-infective? The name itself suggests the pathology is not infection, it is inflammation. It's caused due to, best example in India is C2H5OH induced liver disease. Don't tell alcoholic liver disease in front of patient. We call ethanol induced C2H5 because patient feels very bad. That's why we don't say ALD here. Alcoholic liver disease is a C2H5OH. Best example for non-infective liver disease is alcoholic liver disease. Very common in India as well as in the globe. And most important reason for the cirrhosis of a liver, the people, those who suffer from cirrhosis and ascites are basically they are having ALD as a predisposing factor, alcoholic liver disease. And another non-infective cause is drug-induced hepatitis. Hence, in case of non-infective hepatitis, one is alcohol, second are some toxic drugs. That is hepatic jaundice. The third category is post-hepatic jaundice. Post-hepatic jaundice, here it is, the pathology is away from the liver. It's not before liver, it's not in the liver, it is away from the liver. Away from the liver, how we can explain here? Right from porta hepatis till the ampulla of Vater. Right from porta hepatis, just remember the anatomy, what you have learned. Right from porta hepatis till the ampulla of Vater, second part of duodenum, where the bile duct enters and opens along with pancreatic duct. Anything obstructing at that part, we call post-hepatic jaundice, is also called obstructive jaundice, is also called obstructive jaundice. It's called post-hepatic jaundice. I think it's very easy. Based on etiology, jaundice is of three types. One is hemolytic jaundice, second is hepatocellular jaundice, third is obstructive jaundice. It's also called surgical jaundice. It's also called surgical jaundice. Now, obstruction can be of two types. It's for better treatment aspect. This classification you won't get any in text here. It is my understanding. I made it much simpler afterward in further. This obstruction can be further made of two types. One is intrahepatic obstruction, second is extrahepatic obstruction. All hepatocellular jaundice, we can call it as an intrahepatic obstruction. All post-hepatic jaundice can be called as extrahepatic obstruction. Yeah, this category, this classification one should know for the treatment aspect here. Now, the extrahepatic obstruction can be further of three types. Just I mentioned here, prehepatic, one, hemolytic jaundice. Hepatic, we have three types, two types, infective and non-infective. Like that, the post-hepatic further is of three types. One is, see, there is obstruction here. One is intramural obstruction, second is extramural obstruction, third is in the wall here. What is mural? You take a tube here, any pipe. If something obstructing internally in the lumen is called intramural obstruction. The best example in practice is gallstones. All gallstones which are stuck in between the porta hepatis and the ampulla of Vater, if it is obstructing and if jaundice is resulted due to that type of pathology, we call intramural obstructive jaundice. It should be called as intramural obstruction. Second is extramural obstruction. What is extramural? Something externally and adhering the pressure. If something is obstructing the pipe externally, that is called extramural obstruction. The best example is CF head of pancreas. Any neoplasm surrounding the bile duct, if it is exerting the pressure over the bile duct and narrowing the lumen or completely obstructing the lumen of the bile duct, and because of that obstruction, if bile is not reaching intestine, that is called extramural obstructive jaundice. And third is inside the wall. If congenital atresia of the bile duct, if bile duct is not open at all, in certain people, very rarely we see, that's called infantile cirrhosis. If small children with cirrhosis comes, the first thing one should see is it may be infantile biliary cirrhosis due to atresia of bile duct. Yeah, these are a few examples what I quoted for extramural obstruction, or it is for obstructive jaundice or extrahepatic jaundice or post-hepatic jaundice. This is the jaundice classification. We saw Ayurvedic classification, very simple, very simple. Shakashita and Koshta Shakashita. As per modern concern, pathophysiological classification, predominantly conjugated, predominantly unconjugated bilirubinemia, or hepatic and etiological classification, hepatic, post-hepatic and pre-hepatic. Next. Now, I want to club both the classifications. Is it possible? Yeah. Here I made an attempt to club both and see the chart how it looks. Yeah. According to me, the hypothesis is all unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia will lead to pre-hepatic jaundice. The first point is all unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia will lead to pre-hepatic jaundice. Is nothing but Koshta Shakashita Kamala according to Ayurveda. One should treat all unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia in the lines of Koshta Shakashita Kamala. Tatra Pandvamai Snigdha Tikshne Urda Anulomakehi Samshodo Murdubi Tikte Kamalitu Virechana, whatever Chikisa Sutta has been told in the Charaka has to be applied in this type of Samprati. And all conjugated hyperbilirubinemia are nothing but Shakashita Kamala will lead to either hepatic jaundice or post-hepatic jaundice. In case of hepatic and post-hepatic, the bilirubin level which is high is conjugated. As per pre-hepatic, it is unconjugated. This is the hypothesis. This is how both classification, when we club together, it looks like this. Now, further classification, it's my classification here. As I told, Ayurveda believes only two classifications, Shakashita Kamala and Koshta Shakashita Kamala. Further, I have classified Shakashita Kamala into two types. One is Swatantra Shakashita Kamala and second is Paratantra Shakashita Kamala. If you see Charaka's version, Shakashita Kamala is Aushadhi Chikitsa Sadhya. What is? Shakashita Kamala is not Asadhya. Not a single Ayurvedic Acharya or our ancestors have told Shastra Chikitsa for Kamala. Kamala is not at all Shastra Chikitsa Sadhya Vyadhi. It is totally Aushadhi Chikitsa Vyadhi. One. The second, Shakashita Kamala is Aushadhi Chikitsa Sadhya. It is reversible. When it is medicinally reversible, then we cannot treat any surgical conditions. Hence, surgery is not at all, it is not in our purview at all. As per Kamala Chikitsa is concerned, we have only medicinal interventions. That's why based on this ideology, I have classified Kamala into two categories. Shakashita Kamala. One is Swatantra Shakashita Kamala and Paratantra Shakashita Kamala. Swatantra Shakashita Kamala is hepatocellular jaundice. Paratantra Shakashita Kamala is post-hepatic jaundice. Paratantra Shakashita Kamala is post-hepatic jaundice which needs surgical intervention. It is not bread and butter. It's not our bread and butter. We cannot treat that. Simply we have to refer it to surgeon, concerned person, and we have to get properly treatment done. And so, my dear friends, don't do any attempt here. If gallstone attempt obstruct in between, no, we can treat virechana. I had seen many people giving virechana and landed up with some complications. Don't do such circus at all. It is not. We cannot treat that. It ends our purview here. We can treat only hemolytic and hepatic and pre-hepatic, but post-hepatic we don't have any remedies at all. It has to be treated by a surgeon itself here. Or to say that message, I classified in this way. Now. Till now we saw the classifications. Let's see what exactly Samprati. Because Chikitsa is Samprati, Vigatana Chikitsa. Hence, before we start discussing, let's see what exactly Samprati, how they differ each other based on Samprati. Pandurogi tuyotyartam pittalani nishevate tasya pitta asrum mamsun dagdva rogaya kalpate. This is Koshta Shakashita Kamala Samprati, told by Charaka in Chikitsa 16th chapter. In this shloka, the word dagdva is very important. Dagdva, Madhukosha, while commenting Madhav Nidana, Sandushanat. Dagdva iti Sandushanat can be considered as destruction. Can be considered as destruction. Asrak Dagdva, Rakta destruction, Raktakana destruction, RBC destruction can be think of. And because of this destruction, there is excessive Malapitta production, nothing but once again the bilirubin level. The unconjugated bilirubin level will be excessively produced. And because of that, excessive conjugation and more amount of pitta is available in the koshta. And slightly, Chakrapani has told this condition as Bahupitta Kamala. Koshta Shakashita Kamala is also called Bahupitta Kamala. Now, second Samprati. Kapha samurchito vayu sthanat pittam kshipet balim. It's totally contradictory Samprapti. As per compared to Koshta Shaka Shita, it is entirely different here. See, Kamala is Pitta Pradhana Vyadi, Pitta Jananatmaja Vyadi, Raktava Sotogata Vikara. Pitta is dominantly involved in the Samprapti. That's why Rechanam Kamara Arthasya, first line of treatment has been told as Virechana itself here, no Vamana. But still, in Shaka Shita Kamala, Kapha and Vayu are equally involved in the Samprapti. Kapha samurchito vayu sthanat pittam kshipet balim. Kapha and Vayu are producing avrodha to the flow of the Pitta. Because of that avrodha, Pitta is supposed to reach Koshta, not reaching Koshta. Instead, it is reaching the Shaka. This type of Nidana in secondary BMS we call Ashaya Apakarshaka Hetu. Examples we give for Ashaya Apakarshaka Hetu, we give this Samprapti example. This is a typical Vata, Prakopita Vata takes Pitta away from the Koshta towards the Shaka. Ashaya Apakarshaka Hetu. The Pitta which goes, wherever it goes, it acts as a Agantu dosha. That's why Netra becomes Pitta. Why? Ranjaka Pitta is not at all Sana Pitta. Ranjaka Pitta. That's why it is easily evident. We can make out foreigners easily in a club, is it not? Like that, Ranjaka Pitta can be easily traceable in Netra and other parts because it is not at all its Sthana at all. It is Ashaya Apakarshaka Hetu, Agantu dosha in that particular area. This is Ruksha Shita Guru Swadu Vyayame Vega Nigraha. These are the Nidanas mentioned by Charaka for Shaka Shita Kamala. All are Kapha and Vata Prakopakara Nidanas. But it's not so with Koshta Shaka Shita. What? Pandurogiyo Attartam Pittalani Nishar. It's a totally Pitta Pradhana Ahara Vihara indulgence. But wherein Shaka Shita Kamala it is Kapha and Vayu. This is the basic difference. In the exams, the students will be questioned many times. How you differentiate based on Samprapti. In the Vayu also will be questioned many times. The patient itself question you while treating. Like that, this is the difference. Now, how one can represent diagrammatically? See, this is, I have made an attempt to diagrammatically represent the Samprapti. How Samprapti best can be here. The first one is Koshta Shaka Shita Kamala Samprapti. Here you can see the Asrak Dagdva. Already you learned here. The main pathology involved in Koshta Shaka Shita Kamala is Asrak Dagdva, the destruction. That will lead to more Malapitta and more conjugation. And because of more conjugation, the amount of Pitta available in the Koshta is more. Hence, the word Chakrapani rightly mentioned, so scientific he was earlier. He told this as Bahupitta Kamala. And wherein in Shaka Shita Kamala, Kapha and Vayu producing Avarodha to the flow of the Pitta. Because of Avarodha, the Pitta is not reaching intestine, it is reaching Shaka. Hence, the quantum of Pitta available in the Koshta is very minimum or absent. That's why Alpa Pitta Kamala. The Bahupitta and Alpa Pitta word basically denote the quantum of Pitta available in the Koshta, not with respect to production. Try to understand. The Bahupitta and Alpa Pitta is nothing but the amount of Pitta available in the Koshta. The Kamala is named based on where it is more dominant, where Pitta is more dominant. If Pitta is more dominant in the Koshta, it is called Koshta Shaka Shita Kamala. If the Pitta is dominant more in the Shaka, it is called Shaka Shita Kamala. Hence, the bifurcation of Kamala is based on the where Pitta is more available, where it is resided. Is it in the Koshta or Shaka, and respective name has been given. And this is understood by means of this diagram. I think it's very clear. The Samprapti is very clear based on this diagram. Now, I want to support our version with a modern example here. What is hepatitis? What is happening here? See, this is the pathology. This is normal. You know, just liver histology, just remember, the liver cells are arranged in the form of plates. It's hexagonal in shape. In between each cell, there is an aperture. That's called bile canaliculi. Bile canaliculi is the first aperture for the excretion of the bile. Once bile is produced, manufactured, the first aperture to go out is bile canaliculi. This is bile canaliculi. This is normal. In case of hepatitis, the cells undergo swelling. And because of that, the bile canaliculi aperture is almost closed. Because of close, the bile start retaining in the cells. And that condition we call cholestasis. What is cholestasis? Cholestasis is nothing but stagnation of the bile in the hepatocyte itself instead of excretion. Kapha samurchito vayu is nothing but this obstruction. The black obstruction, second number, what you are observing is kapha samurchito vayu. Sthanat pittam cholestasis. Sthanat pittam cholestasis. Kshipet balim, then vata it does function because vata, you know, here is a main hetu for the Ashaya Pakarshaka. Because of Ruksha Shita Ati Vyayama, already vata prakopa has taken place. Because of Margavarodha, here Margavarodha has occurred. Because of Margavarodha, vata further gets prakopita, and because of that, it takes the Sthanika Pitta to Shakha. This is Asha Apakarshetu. Very nicely, very scientifically told by Charaka. And same thing we can see in this version also. In the same, the pathological slide, what has been mentioned, same thing is representing here. That's nothing but Kafasa Murchito Vayu, Sanat Pittam Kshipet Balim. Now, to conclude, once again, what exactly? It's once again, what is hepatology in Ayurveda? See, these are Mula, Yakrut, Raktava Srotas. Yakrut and Pliha are the Mula of Raktava Srotas. The physiology, the first part, it's a physiology. This is a physiology, what's happening. The basic part, roots are physiology. When there is Vikruti starts, small, there is a seedling, bija antala. That's how the sprout comes, sprout in the form of disease. Initially, it is simple Kamala. It may be Shakashita Kamala. It may be Kosha Shakashita Kamala. Still Chikitsa treatable. If you not treat it properly, Kalantarat, Kharibhutat, Krichasat, like that, it go on the tree, the small plant will go growing in the form of tree. It becomes big tree in the form of different forms of, it may be Panaki, Yakrutodra, Plihodra, Yakrutodra, Halimaka, like that, the different forms of variation, different branches will grow. And one fine day, it will grow fully. And that full growth can be called as Kumbha Kamala. Let us go Kumbha Kamala. Kumbha Kamala is nothing but end stage liver disease. It's an end stage liver disease. It's a portal hypertension condition. It may be HRS, portal hypertension with hepatorenal syndrome. It may be encephalopathy, Krishna Pita, Shakrun Motra. What are the Kumbha Kamala Lakshanas? Saraktakshi, Vindmutra Chardi, Brusham Shunascha Manavaha, Moha, Tama Samanvitaha. See, all different encephalopathy conditions it has been told. And what it is Kumbha Kamala. And hence, this is how I tried my level best to present in a tree form. It's a simple, when it is get affected, simple condition will be there. If it is not treated properly, stage by stage, the disease will grow and find it becomes incurable. Like this, these are different Ayurvedic hepatobiliary conditions. Right from simple Pandu Kamala, it can become Kumbha Kamala. Now, Lakshanas. The clinical features. Haridra Netra Hasa Brusha, Haridra Tok Nakanana, Raktapita Shakrumutra, Bekavarno Atendriyaha, Daha Avipaka Dorbalya Sadana Ruchikarshitaha, Kamala Bhupitaisha, Kota Shakasha Mataha. See, it's very easy. Just I told you, diagnosing Kamala based on Lakshana is very easy. There are two types of ictus, my dear friends. In practice, the clinical hints I am giving you. When you are diagnosing a condition, is it possible to bifurcate hepatic and post-hepatic, pre-hepatic just by seeing eyes? Yeah, definitely. In case of pre-hepatic, the ictus is lemon tinge. In case of pre-hepatic condition, the ictus is lemon tinge, just like lemon, the ictus is. In case of hepatic and post-hepatic, it is orange tinge. I can orange and lemon, just imagine in front of your eyes, just see here. In case of pre-hepatic, the ictus is lemon tinge, just like a lemon, the ictus is. But it has to be re-evaluated based on investigation after. But initially, you can conclude, yeah, it may be a pre-hepatic. Eyes looks like pre-hepatic. Yeah, based on if it is lemon tinge. If it is orange in deep yellow, Haridra Netra, it is hepatic and post-hepatic. And remaining things already you know, I'll not go in detail about this. It's not working. Yeah. These are the different, already you saw this slide, already you saw. Once again, for students, I'm showing here. Yeah. See, Haridra Netra. You can see the ictus here. Yeah, students, why eyes only will become yellow in case of Kamala? If all white parts has to turn yellow, then why not teeth? Why only eyes? It's an affection of bilirubin towards the elastic tissue. The bilirubin is having highly affection. They both are great friends. Bilirubin, conjugated bilirubin and sclera and elastic tissue in fact. And sclera is the part where is that part in the body wherein rich in elastic tissue. That's why eyes will become yellow in case of jaundice. That's why it's very evident. It's a Ranjaka Pitta in Netra is foreigner. That's why eyes, it's easily traceable, A different ictus presentation. I mentioned where one should see ictus, the palate one should see. Don't forget to see the palate. See the bleeding tendency in case of chronic liver disease. There is a tendency of bleeding. That's why you can see the small petechial bleedings. The dorsum of the tongue one should see. The skin. Twak pitata is better appreciated in fair people. In dark people it's very difficult to appreciate, but still twak pitata. And most important, I'd seen hardly very people practice this. If the patient is admitted in the ward, along with patient, try to see the Mutra Varna daily. Ask the patient to collect Mutra daily, and Mutra color will give you correctly whether the patient is responding to your treatment or not. It's most important point in jaundice treatment or Kamala treatment when the patient is inpatient in a hospital. Ask the patient, don't give two clear containers. Ask the patient to collect morning sample and evening sample and see the color. And if color is coming down, that is most important point. I'll tell what's the significance of this observation in the treatment aspect here. As a Mutra Varna one should see. That's why you can make a morning and night sample. We used to see. Till now I making a habit. Even along with that we see stool color also. Tila Pishta Niba Varchaha. It's not limited only to the text, even in the practice also. Tila Pishta Niba Varcha is definitely traceable provided if you keenly observe the stool of the patient when in that Samprati color. Yeah. Then we saw the Koshta Shakashita Lakshanas. Now Shakashita Kamala Lakshanas. See in this, I want to highlight two Lakshanas. One is Jwara, second is Tila Pishtaniba Varchaha. One is Jwara, most important. The Jwara Lakshana is not mentioned in Koshta Shakashita Kamala, only in Shakashita Kamala. It clearly tells infective hepatitis. Infective hepatitis, when you know the premonitory symptoms in infective hepatitis start with high fever, myalgia, arthalgia, loss of appetite. Yeah, definitely. That's why how one can compare this hepatitis to Shakashita Kamala. That's one of the key lakshanas. And with that, Tilapishta Niba Varchaha, most important, most scientific. I want to say scientific nature of Charaka here. I want to highlight. What is Tilapishta Niba Varcha? Why Charaka is chosen Tilapishta only? If his intention was to tell the color, he would have Dhavala Pushas in Ayurveda. Why is chosen Tila Pishtani? If you see after going home, if you're not seen, you take a mushti tila and crush it. It's homework for you people. And after crushing, making it kalka, just see how it looks. It's not only look, how it appears, the consistency. Charaka's intention was not only color, my dear friends, it's a consistency of the stool. He wanted to tell stitoria by means of stila pishtaniva varchaha. It's a fatty diarrhea. The fat which is consumed by the patient, the snigdha padartha consumed by the patient is not getting digested because of absence of bile salts. Sodium taurocolate and sodium glycocolate, which are bile salts, mainly designated to do emulsification of fat, digestive action of fat. I had not discussed this point, digestive action of the bile. Bile contains basically three components: bile acids, bile salts, and bile pigments. The pigment we saw, just now I mentioned here, stercobilinogen, the part. Bile salts are helpful for the proper digestion of fat. And digestion, see, we consume so many food particles, carbohydrates, protein, minerals, so on. For each and every foodstuff, its designated enzymes are there in the body. God has made every station and there it is get crushed. Same thing with fat also. But poor lipolytic enzyme cannot crush fat as it is like that carbohydrate and proteolytic enzymes. Because the fat is having higher surface tension. Because of higher surface tension, the lipolytic enzyme cannot digest. It wants to reduce the surface tension. The process wherein the fat surface tension is reduced is called emulsification. And this emulsification is done by bile salts. Bile salts, that is sodium taurocolate and sodium glycocolate. Because of sin, Shaka Kamala, just now you saw Samprati, what's happening here? The Pitta is not reaching Kosta. Why? Kapha Samur Chito Vayuhu. Kapha and Vayu, they're not allowing to reach to Pitta to reach intestine here. Hence, no bile salts, no fat digestion, fatty diarrhea. That's called steatorrhea. In modern science, it's called steatorrhea. Wherein Charaka basically wanted to tell the stool in Shakashita Kamala is not only Shweta Varna, even Snigdha Varchas. It is Snigdha Varchas he wanted to tell. And Chakrapani is rightly told it is Kostasya Malaranjaka Pittasya Abhavat. Kostasya Malaranjaka Pitta is nothing but the bile is not there in the intestine. Just now, initially I told you, Bilirubin while telling Ranjaka Pitta, that concept I told you, and it's very clear, it's very evident. This shows Charaka was very scientific. Whatever the modern people say in the context of cholestasis, what they're saying now and what they'll say in future also is nothing but Ayurveda only. Nothing. See, thousands of years back, Charaka was told everything. The only thing is his language is different, his way of expression different. We are the foolish people. We shouldn't blame our science here. We are the foolish people. We are not understanding what has been told. We make use of modern science to understand our science, is it not? When I say cholestasis, then only we will understand this. When I say clay cholesterol, then only we will understand Tilapishani. It's not required, in fact. Hence, it's like everything is there. It's very scientific. Charaka's version, as per Kamala is concerned, 100% everything is scientific here. Yeah. Now, diagnosis. Yeah, initially, actually, I've forgotten that point here. Diagnosis, the topic of diagnosis and management here. Diagnosis, my dear friends, basically is of two types. One is clinical diagnosis and second lab diagnosis. Nowadays, clinical diagnosis has died. Hardly we have any time, hardly we inspect patient, we are not touching patient at all. Simply ask two questions and based on that, we give big list of investigation. We ask the patient to go to this lab, that lab and come tomorrow with reports. What has it become now? The clinical diagnosis is hardly 10%, lab diagnosis is 90%, just reverse, which is supposed to be. The clinical diagnosis is ultimate, my dear friends. Clinical diagnosis is ultimate. It must be, one should give priority to clinical diagnosis. And lab diagnosis just like a pickle in a meal. Lab diagnosis should be pickle in a meal. Are we eating tummy fully with pickle? No, it's just for I'm not discussing here. Hence, I'm ammonia level will lead to encephalopathy. That's the early diagnosis one can make. Ammonia level, if it is high, immediately one has to give virechana. Virechana will help in keeping your intestine, keeping your bowel clean. Bowel must be very clean as per Udara Rogi is concerned. If ammonia level is high, it may there chances of encephalopathy. Then serum amylase lipase, if pancreatic pathology is amylase lipase one should see. Then lipid profile and electrolytes, etc. See, these are different rarest rare investigations apart one can think of. I'll discuss next liver function test. Yeah, it's very important. LFT. LFT contains basically the pigment part, enzyme part, and protein part. We can bifurcate LFT in three categories. For students' sake, I made this exercise to understand, to remember. Each component having its own significance in diagnosis. We're not doing LFT because the lab person gives us commission and we're doing, no, it's not the case here at all. The investigations are basically to digest, to understand the condition. Yeah, the bilirubin level, the first part is called pigment part. Hyperbilirubinemia. How we diagnose jaundice? There must be increased bilirubin level. To diagnose jaundice or not, the given patient, many times patient comes with netra pitata, but bilirubin level is normal. Are you going to call it a jaundice? No. It's pitta vardaka, pitta prakopakar lakshanas. Netra pitata is not only told in Ayurveda and Kamala Adhyaya only. No, there are so many other conditions where netra pitata has been told. It's not Kamala. And to diagnose Kamala, if given netra pitata is due to Kamala or not, what it requires? Increased bilirubin level. If bilirubinemia is there, then that is only jaundice. Then further, we want to know what kind of jaundice it is. That is understood by means of the pigment part in LFT. If total bilirubin is high, jaundice. If conjugated is high, hepatic, post-hepatic. If unconjugated is high, it is pre-hepatic jaundice. Yeah. The second, the enzyme part. SGOT, SGPT and alkaline phosphatase. Basically, SGOT, SGPT, these are the enzymes which are there in the hepatocytes. And SGPT is more particular to liver. If in LFT, only SGOT is high and remaining all are normal, it's not liver disease, my dear friends, it's tissue damage. For example, in case of myocardial infarction, MI, within 72 hours, the cardiologist will do SGOT level. Why? A tissue damage will raise the SGOT level, and the SGOT is having extra hepatic source also. But SGPT is exclusively to liver. Hence, in case of to diagnose liver disease, we do SGOT, SGPT simultaneously. There must be simultaneous raise in both the enzymes. Hence, what it indicates, increased SGOT, SGPT level in LFT says there is hepatocyte destruction. Hepatocytes are destroyed. And where it is destroyed? It is case of hepatocellular jaundice. Hence, increased SGOT, SGPT level will tell you it is hepatocellular jaundice. If it is acute raise, say in thousands, it is viral hepatitis. Acute raise is always in case of viral hepatitis. Mildly raised, it may be non-infective hepatitis. But ultimately, raised enzymes, SGOT, SGPT is suggestive of either infective hepatitis or non-infective hepatitis. Next, alkaline phosphatase. Alkaline phosphatase, like SGOT, is having extra hepatic source. It, along with other LFT, should be deranged. Alkaline phosphatase is basically telling about obstruction. Is there any obstruction in the pathology? All obstructive pathology can be diagnosed by seeing alkaline phosphatase level. If alkaline phosphatase is high, 4 times higher than upper level, it is extrahepatic obstruction. Many times people ask, is it possible to diagnose obstructive jaundice without any sonography or without any non-invasive technologies? Yeah, definitely, it's possible. We can assume, not 100%, but we can assume if alkaline phosphatase level is 4 times the upper level, it may be extrahepatic obstruction. It may be extrahepatic obstruction. If it is mildly high, it is intrahepatic obstruction. But ultimately, raised alkaline phosphatase level will suggest you it may be obstructive liver disease. Raised SGOT, SGPT will tell you it's a destructive liver disease. Alkaline phosphatase, obstructive liver disease. Yeah, this is enzyme, the third part. Protein part. Protein part will tell you how chronic the liver disease. Decreased protein level, a chronic liver disease. If albumin level is low, all chronic liver disease like cirrhosis, you see albumin level is very low. Protein, total protein very low. But on the contrary, globulin is high. Like, because globulin is having extrahepatic source, but albumin is solely and wholly synthesized in liver only. As liver is poor, liver cannot function because of its like disease, illness. Hence, albumin level has come down. Hence, AG ratio is reversed in case of chronic liver disease. Hence, take it a point. Pigment part will tell you jaundice and what kind of jaundice. Enzyme part, is it destructive jaundice, obstructive jaundice? Protein part, is it acute jaundice or chronic jaundice? In this way, one can make use of LFT in diagnosing the given condition. I think it's very simple. Now, how one can make use of this LFT in diagnosing Shakarshita Kamala and Koshta Shakarshita Kamala? Million dollar question here. Yes, definitely. Increase conjugated bilirubin, the first. Increase SGOT, SGPT. Alkaline phosphate mildly high. It is Shakarshita Kamala. In case of Shakarshita Kamala, SGOT, SGPT is high, alkaline phosphatase may or may not high, but conjugated bilirubin is high, it is Shakarshita Kamala. If in LFT, only unconjugated is high, remaining all normal or mildly disturbed, it is Koshta Shakarshita Kamala. I think it's very simple. Based on LFT, we can diagnose Shakarshita and Koshta Shakarshita very easily. Now, next, urine examination. Basically, in urine, bile salts, bile pigments, and urobilinogens. I'd seen hardly people see urobilinogen level, but it's very essential to diagnose pre-hepatic jaundice. In case of pre-hepatic jaundice, urobilinogen level is extremely high. But in case of hepatic and post-hepatic, bile salts and bile pigments are positive. That's how we bifurcate. We diagnose both the condition based on urine presentation. Now, a simple trick for you people: if you how to measure urobilinogen, if it is present or not. If you don't have any lab facilities with you, you take a 5 ml test tube, ask the patient to collect the urine, keep it, and vigorously shake it. Shake it. If lot of foam produced over the upper surface of the urine, that is shows presence of urobilinogen. Shake method, simple method. Or if you keep this urine for 24 hours and next day morning if it turns dark brown, it is once again the presence of urobilinogen, because the urobilinogen which is present in the urine will be converted into urobilin after 24 hours, and that is the dark pigment part which is observed in the urine. And in this way, without lab facility, one can diagnose urobilinogen, presence of urobilinogen in the urine. One is shake test, or you can keep it for long duration. It is converted into urobilin. Likewise, in the stool also, you might have seen the fresh stool is golden yellow in color, is it not? The fresh stool is golden yellow in color because of presence of stercobilinogen. If it get exposed to atmospheric air for 24 hours, say 48 hours, what it becomes? A dark brown color will form. What is that? Stercobilin. Stercobilin formation of the stool. Like that, these are converted. This is how we can diagnose presence of these substances in the stool and urine. Now, chikitsa, last part. Another 5 minutes I'll take. Chikitsa, I'll conclude. तत्र पाण्वामहि स्निग्धै तीक्ष्णै ऊर्ध्व अनलोमकैः संशोध्यो मृदुभिः तिक्तै कामलयितु विरेचनैः रेचनं कामलार्थस्य स्निग्धस्यादौ प्रयोजेत् तथा प्रशमनी कार्य क्रिया वैद्येन जानता. Very important, very relevant, very scientific chikitsa. Almost all the authors. Samshodhyo mrudubhi tiktay kamalayitu virechanahi. Before I begin chikitsa, I faced a lot of questions from many people. I faced, and many times I faced also. I think same thing with you also. Jaundice is a condition where fat is strictly contraindicated, is it not? The first advice whenever jaundice patient goes to any physician, what they do, don't take ghee, don't take butter, don't take malai, everything is contraindicated. Fat is strictly contraindicated. But when Charaka says, Samshodho Mrudubhi Tikte Kamalitu Virechana, Snehana is one of the important chikitsa. So many Grita yogas have been told as a chikitsa for the Kamala. How far? Whether Ayurveda or Charaka was scientific in saying Grita yogas for Kamala, that's a $1 million question. Many times I'll be questioned, and I defend it also. And how I defend it, I'll tell you. But definitely you'll also face these questions. Grita yogas in Kamala. When to use? Whether Ayurveda, we people are unscientific. Whether when Grita is totally contraindicated, why so many Grita yogas have been told? What's the answer for this? That I'm discussing now. Samshodhyo mrudubhi tiktai kamalayitu virechanahi. The Chikitsa Sutra, what I'm discussing is for Koshta Shakashita Kamala. First point, make it a point. The Chikitsa Sutra, what I'm discussing is for Koshta Shakashita Kamala. When pitta quantity in Koshta is sufficient, Bahupitta Kamala, there is sufficient amount of bile, sodium taurocolate, sodium glycocolate is available in intestine, then give Snehapana. Because whatever Sneha we give, digested, emulsification, digestion occurs. That is prerequisition. It is very essential. And this prerequisition is told by Charaka also. I'll tell you how he has told. Okay, now I'll tell practically how we are doing here. Kamala is a Pitta Pradhana Vikara, and it is what? Nati Snigdavat. Pandu Kamala there, Nati Snigdavat, wherein Ativa Snigda Lakshana are not essential. In case of, it is Shodhananga Snehapana. Virechana, the Snehapana which is done as a prior to Shodhana, the Shodhananga Snehapana, it is Sadhya Sneha. In Kamala, the Snehapana is Sadhya Sneha. Sadhya Sneham to Aharameva, Dhalana's version here. That in that passion we do Snehapana as a before to Virechana, and after Snehapana, then Vishrama Kala. During Vishrama Kala, no Bhashpasveda. Why? Once again, Pitta Prakopa, Pitta Janatma Vikara, Pitta Pradhana Vikara, and it either Ushnajala Snana, Guru Pravarana can be advocated here. And don't give Tikshna Bhashpasveda, Mahasveda to the patient. Give Ushnajala Snana and Guru Pravarana during the Vishrama Kala. And Virechana, what kind of Virechana here? Mrudubhihi tiktai kamalayitu virechanahi. It's so even the Mrudubhi tiktai, whatever has been told, we are just blind, we are simply following Trivut Leha. Trivut Leha is a universal Virechaka Ushadhi, it's available in the market and in our clinic. It's immaterial. Hardly 99% of the physicians or Ayurvedic practitioners, we are just behind Trivut Leha. Whenever we say Virechana, blindly we give Trivut Leha. But in this context, as per Mrudu and Tikta, what kind of Virechana one should think of here? It is either patola mula, patola katuka rohini adi kashaya, karavellaka prayoga. These are classically we can think of when this principle one has to adopt. Otherwise, Triyut Leha one can think of. Triyut Leha 5 milligram per body kg weight. Generally, how it is calculated. Triyut Leha can be given. Virechana. But Virechana is the first line of treatment we practice in our system. But my dear friends, make it a point when you are practicing Virechana in Kamala, the stool color and urine color must be very important. Urine BPBS must be negative. In a given jaundice patient, if you have to continue the Shamana Chikitsa as long as the urine BPBS negative. And that it is not my version here, it's Charaka's version. That I'll tell you where Charaka has told urine BPBS word. Rechanam Kamalartasya Snigdha Sadhu Prayojet Tata Prashamani Karya Kriya Vaidyana Janata. Once again, Rechana. Whatever Shodhana in Kamala, it is Virechana. Everywhere, whatever, like it is Virechana only, removing the Pitta. There are different Sneha Yogas told. Now, apart from Virechana, there are a few more unpopular treatments. I repeat, unpopular treatments. One is Anjana, second is Nasya. One Anjana, Anjanam Kamalartasya, Drona Pushpi Rasenatu, Nisha Gairika Dhatrinam, Churnam Cha Upari Lepait. Drona Pushpi Swarasa, Drona Pushpi Kalka Sadit Anjana. It is Anjana applied to the Netra, you know how Anjana Vartika is prepared, applied, and it helps in Pitta removal, Pitta Rechana. Once again, remover, just remember word Rechana once again. How it helps here? I'll discuss another Chikitsa and I'll discuss Karmakata afterwards. Next is Nasya. What Nasya here? Nasyam Karkotaka Moolam. Karkotaka is nothing but Jimutaka. Jimutaka Phala Swarasa Nasya. Jimutaka Patra Swarasa Nasya. It is Avapedaka Nasya. But my dear friends, this Nasya is not practiced for 7 days. It's one day application. It is very irritant. Jimutaka Phala Swarasa is very irritant. It is put in nostrils, hardly 5 to 6 drops. After putting it, produces severe inflammation in the nasal mucosa. Inflammation, hyperemia, excessive secretion will start, serous discharge will start. And in case of deep jaundice cases, the discharge is just like a mango juice. The discharge which is coming out of nasal mucosa is just like a mango juice. It is nothing but Virechana. It is nothing but Virechana, once again, removing the Pitta. Yeah. Now, the Karmukata of Virechana, Nasya and Anjana. There are two kinds of bilirubin. It's not conjugate and unconjugated based on its availability. One is systemic bilirubin, second is localized bilirubin. As far as jaundice is concerned, bilirubin is of two types. One is systemic, second is localized. Localized bilirubin are Netragata and Nasagata, nasal mucous membrane. Whatever is there in the sclera is removed by means of Anjana. See, Drona Pushpi Anjana will help in removing the binding between the bilirubin and the sclera. Whatever lacrimal secretion will start after application is once again the Pitta Rechana. Is removing the Pitta from the Netra. In the same way, by putting Nasya, by putting Jimutaka Phala Swarasa in nostrils, it will produce removal of it helps in removal of the Pitta which is there, or local bilirubin which is there in the nasal mucosa. Hence, the scleragata bilirubin and nasagata bilirubin is easily excreted by means of these procedures. Hence, it's a Pitta Rechana. And wherein the systemic bilirubin which is circulating in the entire body will be taken care by means of the Virechana karma. Hence, ultimately, Rechanam Kamalartasya. I conclude in this way, Rechanam Kamalartasya is not only Gudagata Virechana, it is Nasagata Virechana, it is Netragata Virechana by means of Anjana and Nasya also. Hence, ultimate aim is to remove Pitta. Yeah, this is the line of treatment mentioned by Charaka in the context of Koshta Shaka Shita Kamala. I repeat once again, Koshta Shaka Shita Kamala. Next, Shaka Shita Kamala, very scientific. See, Charaka never told to use Sneha in the initial phase. It's very clear here. See, Bari Titri Dakshanam Rukshamle Katukai Rasaihi Shushka Mulaka Kulatta Yushaischa Annani Bojet Matulunga Kshaudra Pipali Marichan Vitam Sanagaram Pibet Pittam Tata Sait. See, it's very clear. Try to find out, is there any Snigdha word in this? See the gunas, see the rasas, which rasa pradhana, which guna pradhana, ahara and aushadhi one should administer. What are those? It is shushka, ruksha, amla, tikshna, ushna, these qualities here in the initial phase. And what are the different, he has given different recipes. What are barhi, titri, dakshanam, rukshamlai, katukai rasahi, shushka, mulka. See, Charaka was very diplomatic. He wanted to please non-Westerners and Westerns both. He was very diplomatic. He has given non-veg recipes also. He has given Western recipes. Charaka, when patient poor Western asks, what about me? Yeah, for you, Shushka Mulaka Yusheza, you can take that. Shushka Mulaka Yusha, Kulatta Yusha. And best practice, I'm using this principle in my practice, that is Trikatu Churna with honey. Trikatu Churna with honey, my dear friends, is the best recipe in case of initial stage of cholestasis. Trikatu Churna 5 grams, honey 5 grams, and Limbu Sorasa 5 ml. Daily, once in a day. It's the best ever treatment. Nothing, don't give anything in Kamala initially, give only this much. This gives you wonderful results. Yeah, Katu, Tikshna, Ushna, Lavana, Purusha, these are different. Like once again, he has never use the word snigdha. See, he has told to continue this where Apitta Raga Shakruto Vayushta Prashmat Bhavet Swasthana Agate Pitte Purishe Pittaranjite Nivrutta Upadravasya Sat Purha Kamaliko Vidihi. See, Charaka was so scientific. Apitta Raga Shakruto. See, monitor, continue this treatment. Trikatushurna, Matulunga Sorasa, Shushka Mulaka Yusha, whatever you want to give. Continues this recipe till where? Apitta Raga Shakruto. The Pitta which has taken Patilomagati to Shaka has started. Vatan Loman has taken place. Vrudyat, Vishandanat, Paka, Soto Mukha, Vishodana. This concept we have adopted. We are given Trikatuchurna, everything is occurred. The Avroda is removed. The Pitta which has gone outside has come to Costa and started to Somashaya. Pitta has reached its ashaya and going to intestine. And how it is understood, whether it is intestine or what? See, so Pitta Purishe Pittaranjite, Tila Pitta Niva Varcha is gone. The Pitta once again started Purisha Ranjana. Yeah, by seeing this Lakshana, Nivrutta Upadravasya, Upadrava, there's not complication here. The Shakashita Kamala Lakshana totally vanished. Purokta Kamaliko Vidihi. Now you start Snehapana. Now you tell, my dear friend, Charaka was scientific or not. Even Charaka was also very scientific. He was also particular. Don't use Gruta Yoga in case of cholestasis. No. We too believe. In fact, we are the pioneers to say this. The modern people, we should say those people. We are the pioneers to say this. Even we believe in. We have believed. We have been taught. Our Aptas are told. Don't use Gruta Yogas in case of cholestasis. This is the example. This is the quotation. It's not my quotation here. What Charaka has told. This is what one has to interpret. Nivrutta Upadras, Apitta Raga Shakruto, till that one shouldn't use Sneha Yoga at all in case of Kamala. Once it is achieved, then Purokta Kamaliko Vidhi what? Tatra Pandvamai, Snigdha Tikshna, Urdhanalomukahi, Samshodha Murdhuvi Tikte, Kamalitu Virechanahi, Rechanam Kamarathasya, Snigdha Sadeva Prayoja. This you once again restart. Is it clear? Practice it. Yeah. Now, when we club these two chikitsas, it looks like this. It's a chikitsa summary of total Kamala chikitsa, Shakashita and Kosha Shakashita. When we club together, it looks like this. Yeah. Now, few Shamana yogas to conclude. I'm not going in detail about like what one can use. It's left to you people. One famous or a few important yogas I'm mentioning here. Like in case of pre-Pathophysiology, what are different Shamana yogas one can think of? All Loha yogas, because the hemolysis is the cause. Hence, ultimately, Sarvada Sarvabhavanam, Samanya Vruddhikarakam, one has to target a Rakta Dhatu here. The depletion that has to be increased. Hence, Navayasa Loha, Dhatri Loha, Punaro Mandura, Phalatrikadi Kashaya, Mandura Vataka, Loha, etc. There are different recipes available one can think of in practice. In case of hepatic, when hepatocellular jaundice comes, Arogya is the best because it contains Katuki and Tamra Basma. These are the important drugs which are there in the Arogya Vardhini that has to be used. Then Krimikuta Rasa, Yakrut Plihanta Kaloha, Kumari Asa, Patol Katukuranadi Kashaya, Vasa Guruchadi Kashaya. There are different few yogas I mentioned here. Yeah, most important. See, I am advocating this. These are few herbs which either singly or in permutation combination I am using. You might see, I did PG in Mysuru, government JMC Mysuru in the year 1997. We developed one formulation called NAB, KNABB, Katuki, Nimba, Amruta, Bhumyamlaki and Brungaraja. In the form of Sorasa, I started giving it. It worked very well and still it is continued. Still I'm practicing it. It works very well. Hence, no need to go for any famous or costlier brands of medicines. If you possess any one of these drugs, you can use it. Guduchi is the best drug in treating this. Guduchi, Nimba, Brungaraja, Bhumyamlaki, Katuki. But you should know when and how one should use here. Katuki is best in case of all cholestatic conditions. Pitta Rechaka, when you want Pitta Rechana, then use Katuki. When you want hepatocell regeneration, Guduchi and Nimba, Brungaraja preparation one can think of. There are so many like conditions one should think before you selecting any drug. Try to have one think about this. What's the motto to serve which motto you're using. And Guduchi, Nimba, Vasa, Erenda, Pippali, Sharapunka, Brungaraja, Bunimba, Katuki, Karavellaka, Bumyamlaki. There are different conditions. Bumyamlaki, as you know, it's an antiviral, it's a famous, it's quoted antiviral here. But unfortunately, it's a Kasa Hara Mahakasha Yoga Ushada, but hardly we use in Kasa. Bhumyamlaki is Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, Bhumyamlaki is introduced in the context of Kasa by Charaka. But we won't use in Kasa. It's widely used as antiviral and in the liver disorders. Let it. Now, take home message for you people. This is the prescription. You can blindly practice this. Initially, whenever hepatocellular jaundice case patient comes to you, Trikatu Churna 5 gram, Nimbu Surasa 5 ml, honey 5 ml, Guduchi, Nimba, Brungaraja, Bhumyamlaki, Katuki Surasa 50 ml. Here, Katuki is Rukshatravya. Remaining all are taken in fresh quantity. All are crushed. Here, Guduchi Panchanga, Nimba Patra, Brungaraja Panchanga, Bhumyamlaki Patra, and Katuki is Churnaya. It's this Varasa I used to give 50 ml twice a day till Apitta Raga Shakruto. Till Apitta Raga Shakruto. Then another Kashaya, Trifla, Nimba, Haridra, Guduchi Kashaya, 50 ml is Charakokta Pandu Chikitsadhya Kashaya. These are gold standard, 24 karat gold standard prescription for Kamala. Very easy, easily available, very economic to patient's wallet. Patient no need to spend much, even, and very effective in the same time. Very effective. Yeah, Pathya Pathya. Any treatment is inconclusive. It's not concluded till I discuss Pathya Pathya. Once again, I want to highlight Charaka's scientificity in Pathya Pathya is concerned. Tabhyam Samshuddha Koshtabhyam Pathyani Annani Dapet Shalin Sayogoduman Puranan Yushasamitan Mudga Adake Masurasya Jangalisa Rasaitaha. This is what Charaka has told as a Pathya for Kamala Rogi, Pandu Kamala Rogi. Now, before I discuss this, what modern people say, whenever jaundice patient comes, fat, very less fat or no fat, rich in protein and rich in carbohydrate diet generally, what they advocate. Is it not? What Charaka has told. See, Tabhyam Samshuddha Koshtabhyam, after Samshodhana, when Kamala is on Shamana Chikitsa, what one has to give? Pathyani, Annani, Dapayet, Shalin, Sayava Goduman, Puranan. See, it's very important. One is Purana and Shali. What is Shali? Yava Goduma, all these are monocotyledons. Monocotyledons. What monocotyledons are? They are rich in carbohydrate. And what? Not Nava, Purana. All Navadhanya are Abhishandi. All Navadhanya are Abhishandi. That's why we are not supposed to use new grains. Old grains are preferred because they are not Anabhishandi. They are Anabhishandi. And Purana, Anabhishandi. And what? Yusha Samhita. It's not complex preparation like roti or something. He has told Yusha, in the form of Yusha one should use. Yava Goduma Purana Shali in the form of Yusha. Why Yusha? Easy for digestion. It's form of soup or Yusha. It's very easy for digestion. In the same way, Mudga Adaki Masura, dicotyledons, rich in proteins. Once again, Yusha. High carbohydrate, high protein. Jangala Prani Mamsarasa, not Anupa Rodaka. Jangala Prani, Ishat Snigdaha. The Snigdata which is present in the Jangala Prani is very, very alpa. That's why, once again, diplomacy. Charaka has what? Taken care of the other people, those who are fond of or eagerly eat Prani Mamsarasa, Jangala Prani Mamsarasa. That too Mamsarasa form, not in different kebab form. It's Mamsarasa form. Now, let's see whether Charaka was scientific or not. Was na is, in fact. Charaka is very scientific. Right from the word Kamala definition till the Pathya Pathya, the treatment. Everything to prove his scientificity, I made use of the modern concept. And these are once again the cereals, vegetables, Shushka Mulka, Matulunga, Jangala Prani, Mudgadaki Masura, etc. These are Pathya Pathya. Thank you. I thank once again the Rajiv Gandhi Etiological Celebration team, JSS Institute of Ayurvedic Medical College and SDM Ayurvedic Medical College, Bangalore, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience in treating liver disorders. I thank the audience for patience hearing. Thank you. Before I conclude, we Ayurvedic people shouldn't forget these two, Gomutra and Haritaki. Gomutra and Haritaki, these are two important drugs in the treatment of liver disorders. Today, I had restricted my discussion only to Kamala Chikitsa. In fact, I'm treating Jalodhara. I have a lot of Jalodhara cases, cirrhosis cases, and my trump card in treating these two these are my two bigger hands. That's why always I salute these, Gomata and Haritaki. These are two important drugs. Gomutra Haritaki is the most wonderful drug in treating different chronic hepatocellular disorders. Basically, portal hypertension conditions. If at all you want to reverse portal hypertension, is only by means of Gomutra and Haritaki. Thank you.
Please be seated, sir. There are a few questions. And I can say very confidently, you have instilled more confidence in all our audiences in understanding as well as treatment of Kamala, including me. Thank you, sir. So there are few questions. So any questions regarding the session? Madam, please.
So thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. And with the Dean, sir, we have always discussing regarding this, that Dr. Samir Naik, sir, means it is the treatment of Udara, especially, sir, many patients like in the end stage you have treated like that. And I think you were telling regarding the 24 karat gold that we are also GMC products. So your NABB, Swarasa, I think all our students also know the combination, and till now, like still we are using the same combination only, sir. And sir, one question regarding the biliary obstruction due to gallstones, how to manage, sir? So because we all manage other these things like urinary tract disorders wherein the stone obstructions, but how to treat the gallstones obstructions, sir?
Yeah, gallstone definitely, just I mentioned here, gallstones, its position matters here, where exactly they are. If gallstones are in the gallbladder, we can make an attempt here. I use Panveladik Shara, I'm using. When gallstones, I have limitations, I just mentioned here. Gallstones, if it is only in gallbladder, then only you can think of. If it is obstructing the bile duct, and I don't want to try, I never tried also, I will not advocate to try you people also. It's not like, it has to be attended immediately, ARCP or something has to be done, it has to be removed. But when gallstones are then the gallbladder, I treated few people. See, what these are gallstones are, they are sludge. There's like a eclair chocolates. They are not stone like very hard. A very sludge, soft callus here. I am using Panveladik Shara. I do Virechana. I use Katuki preparations a lot. In few people, there was a success. But as long as, patients were on the treatment, they are asymptomatic. There's no any like inflammation of the gallbladder or swelling or something like that. In two people, they developed cholecystitis and huge edema. The gallbladder, all edema was developed, and they were referred to the surgeon. And after giving antibiotics, when the inflammation subsided, they were removed. And but my experience as per gallbladder treatment is concerned is not that good. But still, I had tried. But if at all you want to try, you can use Kshara. I am using Incops Panveladik Kshara.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from delegate side? So there are few questions from other hall. So among them, what is the difference between Pittaja Pandu and Kamala, which was asked by Dr. Sharanya from STM College of Ayurveda, Bengaluru?
Yeah. See, based on whenever we want to discriminate any disease, based on Pratyatma Rakshana, Pandu so alparaktu alpamedasko nissaro shitilendri vaivaranam bhajet. See, if at all you want to diagnose Pandu, that Pratyatma Rakshana, along with that Pitta Pradhanata Rakshana will be the Pittaja Pandu. See, any disease, when different classifications we make, In the Samprati, the fourth stage of Samprati, Kriya Kala, Sthana Samshaya Avastha, it is Dosha Dosha Samochana Avastha. Here the doshas are of two types. One is Agantu Dosha, Kupitanami Doshanam Sharire Paridavata Yata Sangha Kha Vegunasha, Varis Tatropajayate. The Prakupita doshas, when they are wandering here and there in search of some Kha Vaiguna, they want to settle, they are Agantu Dosha. They are the disease causing agents. Then Sthanika Dosha. The dependency of the propellant of Sthanika dosha, the respective type of the disease is understood. Like it Vata Japandu, Pitta Japandu, Kapha Japandu, etc. That's how my understanding. As so Pitta Japandu is concerned, see Pandu, before I say Pitta Japandu, I want to see is it Pandu or not. Then comes Pitta Japandu. Like that Kamala. And second, but you can say, as you asked, Pitta Japandu and Kamala, no difference between. In Pitta Japandu, you can say initial stage. Pandu Rogio Atyartam Pittala Nishevate. It's Kamala is nothing but the further continuation of the Pandu Roga itself here. In the initial stage one, we can say Pittaja Pandu. If it is not treated, when Kamala Lakshanas are not manifested, if it is continued, then that may continue it as a Kamala only. But it's the initial stage, initiating stage, we can say here. But to diagnose Pandu, so Alpa Rakto Alpa Medasko Nisaro Shitilan Vivaranim budget is must. Without that, we cannot say Pandu.
Thank you, sir. Another question is LFT changes in Gilbert syndrome and how it is diagnosed, which was asked by Dr. Shilpa from JSS College.
See, Gilbert syndrome, LFT will suggest you, but it will not conclude is it Gilbert or not. In LFT, if unconjugated, persistent unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, after giving treatment in initial phase, in a day one only, we cannot make out is it Gilbert or not. Persistent, after giving any treatment, if it is not coming under control, then we have to go for further tests to diagnose Gilbert syndrome. But Gilbert syndrome cannot be diagnosed wholly and solely based on LFT. Only unconjugated bilirubin level can be, it indicates only that.
Yes, sir. Sir, how to do Shodhanartha Snehapana in Kamala?
It's very simple. The last slide is Apitaraga Shakruto Vayusha Prashmat Bhavet. Till that point, one has to do the Shamana Chikitsa, the Shamana in the sense of Vrudhyat, Vishandanat, Paka, Sroto, Mukha, Vishodhanat. That concept, based on that concept, you have to give Trikatu Churna, 5 gram, honey 5 gram. Yeah, this combination. This has to be continued. I am using, that's what I told here, Trikatu Churna 5 grams, honey 5 grams, and Matulunga Sarosa in the form of lemon juice I use. I am giving this, and this combination I am continuing till the Vatandoma takes place and the stool color becomes normal. I use one word in my presentation. Monitor urine BPBS. Urine BPBS is another indication which Charaka has not told, but I am adding in that point here. I am adding in that point. We have to start Snehapana once urine BP becomes negative. Urine BPBS becomes negative. Initially, if Kamala Rogi comes and you do a left and urine analysis, if urine analysis says there are urine BPBS positive, is present, urine bile salts and bile pigments are present, don't give Snehapana. Even though stool color is normal, but don't give Snehapana. Continue this kind of treatment till urine BPBS negative or daily monitor the color of the urine. That's what I told. Urine color will give you whether the given patient is responding to your treatment or not. If urine color becomes day by day, it becomes like lighter. If deep yellowishness has gone and urine has become lighter, that shows patient is recovering. And urine, if it becomes normal color, then you start Snehapana. And Shodhananga Snehapana in Kamala, most important thing, the stool color and the urine color one has to monitor. Many times Chilapishta, observing Chilapishta in stool color is very different. Chilapishta is something like this. Whatever color you see here, this is typical Chilapishta Varcha. It's called clay color. Clay color. In my practice, I had seen only 6 or 7 patients that kind of color in entire my 25 years of practice. I'm practicing 25, hardly 6 or 7 patients presented with this kind of color. When they approach at right time, even approaching patient at right time to us is very important. It is very difficult. No, the patient will not approach in initial phase. They come us with a lot of complications after going here and there, they come. And see, getting Chilapishta in the initial phase is very difficult. But instead of that, if you monitor urine BPBS, that is another thing one can think of for Snehapana parameter.
Thank you, sir. Another question is there, which was raised by Dr. Vasundhara, reader, Hillside Ayurveda Medical College, Bengaluru. So, where to fit the fatty liver condition in Ayurveda, and what is the scope of Rasayana Chikitsa?
Pardon?
So, where to fit the fatty liver condition in Ayurveda?
Okay. Fatty liver is once again Yakrut Roga and Pliha Roga. Or in other words, if you open Charaka Chikitsa, Udara Chikitsa there, Yakrutodara Plihodara. In Yakrutodara Plihodara, here Charaka is classified further avasthas of Yakrutodara Plihodara. There are Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja, Kathinyat, and there are different words he has used. If I'm not remembering exactly that, but in case of Udara context, Yakrutodara Plihodara, further there is a classification, Vataja, Yakrutodara, Pittaja, Yakrutodara, like that. In that avastha is fatty liver. That is fatty liver deposition. Fatty liver is condition wherein the visceral fat, the fat is started depositing in the viscera. And that is leading the fat, the liver surface which is supposed to be very smooth and has started becoming hard. That is fatty liver. That is steatosis. I repeat here, words steatosis and steatohepatitis are two different conditions. Steatosis is just simply depositing. There is no any liver damage or something else, simply depositing. When it converts into steatohepatitis, that is once again, the udara size will increase. The liver, fatty liver, liver is enlarged, grade 2, grade 3 fatty liver we say. That is once again. That is further next avastha of udara. But anyhow, Yakrutodara is nothing but fatty liver of different avasthas. Steatosis and steatohepatitis, sclerosis and cirrhosis. Cirrhosis with portal hypertension, Yakrut Plihodara converting into Jalodhara. All Udaras will convert into Jalodhara ultimately. Like that, Yakrutodara Plihodara getting converted into Jalodhara is nothing but portal hypertension, the end stage.
Yes, sir.
But anyhow, fatty liver is Yakrutodara.
Okay. Sir, another question, it's raised by Dr. Sindhura from JSS Ayurveda College. So, any relevance of Thailabindu Pariksha in Kamala?
I not yet tried. I not come across. Thailabindu is basically a prognosis line of investigation told in Ayurveda. Most of the main intention of Thailabindu is prognosis here. But I have not tried. I don't have any experience in using Thailabindu in Kamala.
Thank you, sir, for sparing time out of your busy schedule and to share your expertise with us. Many thanks from all of us. Now, I request Dr. Rajesh Udupudi, sir, Dean Academics, JSS Ayurveda Medical College, to felicitate Dr. Samir Naik, sir. Sir, please. Now, we have lunch break. I request all the delegates and dignitaries to assemble back at sharp 2 o'clock for scientific session. Thank you.